So this is going to take a little bit to get used to. Hello and welcome to Writer Sanctuary. Today I'm going to go over the 8 steps I took to become a freelance writer. The thing I keep in mind is that everybody's going to have a different experience. The things that work for me may not work for you. However, you might find a path that's better than mine. You might actually do better than me. But let me go over the 8 things that I did to become a freelance writer. Now, step 1 was signing up with Tex Broker. I know a lot of people have problems with content mills because they really don't pay a lot in comparison to some of the other jobs that you can find. But that's not entirely the point of this. I signed up with Tex Broker because it was easy, quick pay, and the content that I had to write wasn't all that difficult. I started as a level 3 and had to work my way up. But the more I worked the system, the higher the payouts became. Plus, it's a great way to get experience for future orders and clients outside of Tex Broker. Now, once I was able to succeed on Tex Broker, I decided to expand my horizons and sign up with as many other content mills as I could. This included Writer Access, Fiverr. I even think I have an account on Hire Writers. I haven't really done too much on that one though, but the point of signing up with multiple systems is that you're able to keep yourself busy. If there wasn't work in Tex Broker, there'd surely be work in something else. At one point, I spent the day bouncing back and forth between tabs, going to who had the most work. And through all the experiences that I've had, Tex Broker has been the one that's paid out the most. The next thing I did was I started to hone my skills and abilities. The more effort I put into perfecting my skill as a writer, the more clients would throw money at me. This is aside from the fact that there's far more jobs as level 4 on Tex Broker than level 3. In order to get that level, I had to work hard. I had to learn everything I could about AP style English so that the editors would be happy and quit sending me revision requests. It took a very long time to break myself out of using serial commas. In fact, that was probably one of the biggest problems I had to reach level 4 in the first place. And there's a few other grammatical problems I had to work out, but that's where the practice came in. And I view working on any client's orders as more than just income, it's practice. Every word I type furthers my abilities. Once I became comfortable with my abilities, I decided to expand what niches I would write for. In the beginning, I would focus purely on computer-related content because, that was my background. Then I started exploring things like the animal section or travel, business, marketing, and I found that I've got a lot more interest than just computer. I actually like to write about travel, and who knew? But that's when I started really making money, is when I started going outside of my comfort zone. I decided to give a few things a try, and it panned out quite well. In fact, it got to the point where I was able to quit my job. But quitting my job was only part of it. After quitting, I'd have to schedule my time as well. See, in the past, I was only a part-time writer, but a full-time technician for the school district. Once I quit my job, I had to make sure that I was able to sustain myself and the family, and that meant putting a lot of time in scheduling. But instead of having to go from school to school, I was able to just write content for clients. That's one of the most important parts of the step, is to make sure you're scheduling your time after you quit your job, because if you quit your job too early without being able to sustain yourself, you're going to get screwed in the long run. Luckily, the school district didn't really pay all that much, so it wasn't really all that difficult to surpass what they would pay me as a writer. In reality, $8.40 an hour really isn't all that much. After quitting my job and realizing that writing was going to be my career, I figured that I'd have to add as much practice as I could, which is why I started building blogs. Now, blogging is great because it gives you a platform to practice on, and if you use it right, it gives you something that you can show as a resume. I started Writer Sanctuary to help people learn how to write like I do and to be an online portfolio. But writing is like any other skill, and you have to keep practiced if you want to keep good at it. I was lucky and I paid for hosting for my computer company that I had to close down, so I'm able to build as many blogs as I want. But if you don't have the money to pay for hosting, you can always use a free system like WordPress.com or Blogger. Now, even though these are harder to monetize later on, they still give you a good place to practice your skills and to show somebody your work. In fact, I know a lot of talented writers out there that use the free system at WordPress.com. One of them is even a published author in Great Britain. So after spending quite a bit of time writing for clients on Tex Broker, Writer Access, and Fiverr, and then building the blogs, I decided it was time to actually market myself to the general public. Marketing on social media is actually quite easy and free. The most effective profile I created was that on LinkedIn. In fact, LinkedIn is how I attracted my retaining client today. Now, I've been working for this client for over a year and a half. It's kind of semi-permanent, so it was a pretty good deal. The point is that if you want to get the jobs outside Tex Broker and actually make some real good money, you have to market yourself. And I do kind of a piss poor job at it, but my LinkedIn profile is still complete and it attracts people now and then. So if you're looking to expand your horizons outside of Tex Broker and land a lucrative client, I would suggest maximizing your effort on LinkedIn. It's more of a social site that's for professionals, so it's more likely you'll want to land a decent client. So after I landed this lucrative client, and I still write for Tex Broker, decided it was time to expand the tools that I use in my arsenal. This included adding a second monitor, and I tell you what, dual monitor support when you're a writer is heavenly. I can have research on one screen and then do my writing on another, and it's so much easier than having to bounce back and forth from tabs. In fact, I take my laptop when I travel so I can still write and work, and I hate it because I don't have the second monitor. Sometimes I'll plug the laptop into the TV in the hotel just so I can have that support. But dual monitors make a huge difference when you're writing content for clients. Another thing I invested in was Photoshop. I use Photoshop on my own websites, but my clients, especially the one I got from LinkedIn, need screenshots for the articles that I write, so having Photoshop or similar software is ideal. And since I took Photoshop when I was in college, I figured it was the best bet since I already have experience with it. In fact, I've been using Photoshop since 2000, before that. This was back before Adobe even had PageMaker. Oldest PageMaker, wow, that was like mid-90s. Holy shit, I feel old. My point is that you can start with the small things, but work your way up. Even if you're working on a little bit of a tablet, if you can start generating some money, it's worth the investment to expand what you can do. It got to the point where I built a whole brand new computer this year for my job because I needed the extra power. And since I could build my own, it was the best $1,000 I ever spent. So now it's kind of a writing/gaming computer, but it works. But anyway, those are the 8 steps I took to become a freelance writer, and I make quite a bit of money. I'm not nearly the success that I'd like to be, but I'm working my way up to it. Ideally, I would love to be a published novelist, but at the moment, I'll just settle for a glorified blogger who's paid well for his time. So, how did you start as a freelance writer? Leave in the comments below. But anyway, thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you'd like, and I'll see you tomorrow.